So today, people, we're going to talk about Noah Okafor. I've been waiting a while to do a video on our new winger, and now's the perfect time. 65, 70 minutes against Wolves. Was involved a lot in the game, a lot of things to talk about within that performance. And I'm going to use kind of a threatometer. I've kind of made that word up. But there's a metric out there called expected threat, which kind of analyzes or looks at how dangerous the move was before the player and how dangerous the move was after the player. So did that player create a bigger threat than before they got the ball? Does that make sense? So I'm looking at this from now an eye perspective, and I'll go through some clips as I usually do. And we'll look at Noah Okafor before the move and after the move, analyse what he did right in the move, what he did wrong in the move, potentially. Just see how much of a threat he actually was. There's a few things that wingers need, I think, at the top level to be elite. You need to be productive, you need to be effective and consistent, and within that, decision making. I think they're the key things. And if you add a mental aspect to that as well, that comes into confidence. But all that together creates, for me, a top winger. And there's a lot in there on Noah Okafor. So we'll get into that. Let's go. But before, actually, I must mention this. The stat above me is key. Successful dribbles. The guy had 14 dribbles in a game. Now, this is what I want to see. And I did a video a few weeks ago on our current wingers. None of them really completed more than two dribbles in a game. So that says to me, this is how we want to play. This is what the manager wanted when he wanted a new winger. And this is what is expected. And you can see why within the game, right? You all watched it. The contrast between that and Noah Okafor having 14, he had more dribbles than any of them combined in their previous few games. It's crazy. In one game, in 70 minutes. Now, 43% of them, which is 6 out of 14, were successful. I always say around 48 or higher is pretty decent if you've kind of got more than 10 dribbles. I think that's pretty good. It's just under that. But again, that is such a high amount. And there's a lot to work on with that. So let's get into the clips. Now, the first one, and again, we'll go through his actions. I'll discuss the actions. He shows for the ball here. And I actually think this is quite a difficult one for him personally. Back against to goal. He's in a dangerous area. He's very deep. And this is a thing. I wasn't a huge fan of him when he was deeper. I think when he's closer to the final third, when he's closer to other attacking players, is where he thrives, in my opinion. Some wingers, for example, or some players are very, very comfortable deep. I think Nonto's a very good player deep. He don't usually lose the ball. He's that low centre of gravity. He can turn really quickly. Very comfortable deep. But Noah Okafor, for me, is a little too rogue, a little too risky, kind of in the way Rutter was, to be a really effective player deep. I try and miss him as much as we can deep, personally. But the ball is here and he's the outlet. Strout gives him the ball. Now, like I said, look, it's not a great ball. He's in quite a difficult position here. But the decision making, again, looking at the expected threat, looking at the threat, he's got the ball here and he's not in a threatening position. It's not like he's lost the ball and he's not being productive in an effective position, right? This is impossible. Not impossible. Very difficult to do anything from here. Realistically, the only option really for me was a little set to Ampadu. Maybe we can play out from Goodmanson and drive into this space. But apart from that, it's difficult. But what he does do, he tries to flick through 2 defenders. Now, the issue is here, he loses the ball. And I believe this leads to the goal, as it says under my head there. I'm pretty sure this leads to the goal. But again, there's blame on the pass there. There's blame on the idea and not an option for Noah Okafor. Having said that, I think probably the best option there is to maybe try draw a foul as opposed to try flick it behind through 2 players, which you're just not going to do. So that's kind of the first one. And we could argue he didn't improve the threat. In fact, that led to a goal. That's negative threat. However, it was not really in a threatening position. I don't want to analyse that too deeply. Off the ball position. Now, this is another aspect of this video that I'll speak about. I always like Noah Okafor. I think he's key, or he will be key for us this season, not only in his 1v1 dribbles, but his role's central. What I like about how we play, and I'll show this within the game as I go through, when we're off the ball and we're not necessarily pressing too high, we're kind of sitting here in this kind of mid-block. Quite aggressive mid-block, though. We don't allow anything in midfield. We are very productive in it. I think it's one of our best things. The opposite winger, generally speaking, unless there's no spare man, will sit quite narrow and quite close to striker. Then, obviously, when we win the ball, that means we have players to attack that are very close. So we can do some quick 1-2s to get out of narrow positions, right? So it works. So that's a key thing that I want to speak about. Now, again, we didn't win the ball back in this situation, but this is the thinking, right? So here we are. They've come into our trap, and there you've got Ampadu. You know, you have Stack in there as well. You've got Longstaff, Aronson maybe. These are the players that win the ball in this area. And how many times this season have we won the ball in this area, and then we're literally 3v3 on their back line, or 2v3 or 4v3? And then how many times from that have we not been productive and scored or had a shot? And that's most times. But this game is a little different. This is kind of a taste of what's to come. We don't win it here. Noah actually comes in, he slides, and they get it back. But you can see if we win this ball, look at the outlet. It's a strong, powerful, direct runner who's bypassed their entire midfield and is now on their back line. That's the threat. And that's why this shape in midfield is so key to the way we play. Now, one here, a long ball comes into, on a Rodon plays it into, or one of them plays it into Stack's head. Stack, again, Noah Okafor, look, coming narrow. There's the same space, and this time we find him. So it comes off Stack's head into Noah Okafor. There he is, close to other players. First touch goes round this defender who has to cut it out, because if he doesn't cut it out, Noah Okafor is in. He's on their back line. And that's what happens. And that, again, comes from winning the ball, or winning the second ball in midfield, which Stack did this time. Okafor was close to it, you know, and that's important, because if we're winning in midfield, a lot of the times the outlet needs to be central, because that's where we win it. And if we go wide, that slows the move down. That gives Wolves, or whoever we're playing, him to just reset and get their shape back. But if Noah Okafor's central, can't reset. We've already bypassed them, right? We've gone through them as opposed to round. There's times where going wide works, and we do that, and it does work at times, but there's also times where central is perfect for him. Flicks it past him, and now you're in this position, and now they're in trouble. This is a position, and this is something we need to look at. And obviously, say we are doing that, clearly. Now, again, just decision making in the moment, and you're not expecting every time. I'm just analysing the performance. He does so well to beat his man originally. And one thing I did realise about Noah Okafor, when he's central, it's kind of more, because when you're a wide winger, I think for me, when you're 1v1 out wide, you're not really relying on body shape and power to take a man on. You're relying on quick feet and pace over 2 or 3 yards. Noah Okafor, for me, is a good dribbler when he uses his body. Do you know in the way Rutter would? Where you won't really see Rutter drive 1v1 out wide. He'd go inside and then trust his body to get his body between ball and man and then use the touch. Noah Okafor is similar in that sense for me. He's better when he's driving, when he can use his body. And that's why you'll see him many times in this game, including this, where he did that, and it was just really good. Now, for me, this is where he just takes an extra touch. There's an option to drive out. He kind of just runs straight into the defender. He takes an extra touch. I think he's just looking for that kind of obvious pass, but there wasn't really one. Aronson was to the right, but it's quite a difficult kind of thing for him to see in that situation. Just takes an extra touch. But the area is excellent. And the ability to get in there from beating his man, using his body to get between the ball and man and take him on is excellent to me. So this, again, him centrally, around Calvert-Lewin, around our midfield, is deadly for me. Or it will be. Yeah, just an extra touch, gets intercepted. The thought process is there. So it definitely improved the threat, right? Lost the ball in the end, but his little work, his drive, improved the threat from when he got the ball. But I guess you could say necessarily he didn't because he lost the ball. But that's where the metric comes into at the end. But it's a positive threat, is what I'm saying. He's positive. He's positive in what he's doing. Very positive. So I love that. Again, receiving it deep. Gets the ball this time. Quite a lot of space around him. And again, this is where I talk about that 1v1 out wide. I think it's a bit more hit and miss as opposed to more centrally. Because here, he tries to beat the man. And again, he gets the ball around the man. But it's just the defender. Wolves defenders were quite quick. They were very well organised as a unit, in my opinion. But they were very quick. So 1v1, they're actually quite good defenders. And there'll be games this season where Noah Okafor goes 1v1 with slower fullbacks and beats them. But these guys are quite quick. It just loses out. And again, in quite a dangerous position. You know, they have 3 guys in space as I've circled there. So yeah, just here for me. This is where the decision, just to come inside, drive into this space. Then you've got combinations with Calvert-Lewin. You know, you can drive, you can win fouls. Just them little things on the outside every now and again that where we saw at the start for the goal, where he just tries to commit the wrong kind of way at times. But that's, again, down to analysing the situation of the game post-match, which is kind of what I'm doing here. Positive. Our wingers didn't do this. He does. And I want him to keep doing this. Mistakes are fine. If you're a winger, that 13, 14 dribbles per game, like I said at the start, half of them probably won't come off. But if the other half are very productive and effective, who cares? But you can still also look at a game and go, you shouldn't be trying that risky one-on-one through his legs in that area because we are quite exposed when you lose it in this situation and for the goal. But it balances out. It balances out. And again, he had the right idea here. So Goodmanson, again, plays it into him in this wide, deeper area. And the ball is inside. But I don't know whether he's trying to find a pass. Is expecting someone to be in there or it's just a bad touch. But it's the right decision this time. He commits the defender and he passes it off, gives it into this space. But it's just the outcome. But that's the better decision for me, as opposed to trying to beat him on the outside here. Look how narrow the space is, but look at space inside. Yeah, as I said, the ball goes to this guy. I don't know what it was. I don't know if he was looking for Stack, but he weren't happy. He had the winger arms when nothing comes off, which is the wingers, man. Selfish players. Who'd have been one, eh? Who'd have been one? Yeah, it's never wingers' faults, guys. It's the opposite. It's your fault. Teammates' fault. Come on, sort it out. Why were you not there for my terrible touch? What are you doing? Yeah. But then again, here we go. Commits the defender. And like I said, this is why nothing's linear. He beats Gomez on the outside. And he commits, but he uses his body well. Beats the man. Beats him really well. Then cuts inside. Beats the second defender. Beats these 2 defenders. And the pass is almost there. But I love this part of it. When he drives inside and he's looking for combinations with other players, is when Noah Okafor, for me, can really, really affect this team. And that's what he did in this situation. He beat him on the outside, then beat the other guy on the inside. And he tries to find a pass, and it's the right idea. It's unlucky, like I said. But again, looking at the threat, he's definitely improved the threat. He improved from when he got it to when he lost it. He lost the ball, again, so there's no outcome to it. And this is where the productivity side of it comes into it, right? That will improve with time and sharpness. But the idea and the thinking behind what he's doing, what he did on the ball to what he did after the ball, before he lost it, he was in a more advantageous position. He was a threat. He beat 2 guys. He was a threat. And if it's a slightly different pass, we're in one-on-one with Calvert-Lewin. A positive threat. And one thing, if people watched last week's video, me and Andreas spoke a lot about it. If we're crossing it, get players in the box. This is what I want to see. Noah Okafor stands the guys up. He realises I'm not going to take 3 on the outside. I'll get a ball in the box. We have 3 players in the box. Unbelievable. I love it. And we also have Bogle covering the outside of the box. This is what me and Andrea spoke about on our pod. If you've not seen it, by the way, go watch it. I love it. It's on this channel. Love it. Love chatting to Andrea about football. It's great. It's very good. Yeah. This is the shape I need to see more when we're crossing it. You know? Next situation. 1-on-1, out wide. Does all right here. Kind of Goodmanson makes the run kind of between the fullback and the centre-back, which kind of takes the option from it to go down out wide, out. It kind of takes this guy out of the picture as well. Now, what he does right, he cuts inside. So there's Goodmanson, as you can see. Just taking that guy out of it. He takes this man on. Now, it looks like he's off balance here. But I couldn't quite screenshot it. But there's a split second where the second he takes this guy on here, he has literally quarter of a second opportunity to shoot. This is where the instinctive side of it and the confidence comes into it. For me, this is a perfect angle for him to shoot. I've seen him score many goals from this angle. And I know it looks like he's off balance, but watch it back. There is a little moment where he can shoot. But he tries a little too many. He takes one too many touches again. Positive step from being in this area. The outcome now would have been cut inside and shoot here. Find the corner like he did for his finish. He's got that in the locker. He's very good at doing that. And we'll see that this season, I'm convinced. We'll see him cutting in and we'll see him find the corner. That's his role. That's what he can do. But he just takes an extra touch and loses the ball. Again, the threat is there. The kind of product, the kind of outcome of the threat is a loss. And there was a lot of that. But again, there was also a lot of upside to it. And there we are. They were on a counter-attack. This is part of it, guys, being a winger. You lose the ball in high areas. You lose the ball in deep areas. The fact is, if you're wide, it's likely that the team have committed a lot of players forward. And if you lose it, they've got a good chance. And that's the way it is. That's part of it, risk-reward. I just want to quickly mention this one because it's him playing close to Calvert-Lewin. Again, look, we win the ball in midfield. Another key thing. Look at this. No way out for Wolves. I can't remember who won it. I think it was Ampadu. Wins the ball, goes straight to Okafor, who is central, and he beats his man with, again, a good first touch and using his body to get between the player and man. Continues his run, gives it into Calvert-Lewin, who plays it to Aronson. Continues his run. Aronson takes a shot. But again, impacting the game from winning the ball in midfield, which our midfielders did, to combining with the striker. So very, very impressive productivity here. Definitely improved the threat. 100% when he got the ball here. Beat his man, played it into the striker, made the run. Perfect. I just want to highlight this. Now, I hope you guys are enjoying this. This is not something we'll do a lot. And this is kind of depends on the structure, depends on the shape. It's a little lopsided. But I don't mind this at all. When there's a certain situation where we kind of pen in one side, as you can see, Aronson there is our right winger. He's gone to the left. We're looking for some kind of overload between the lines, clearly. We've got Stack and Okafor playing between their midfield and their defence. I like this. I just think we've got players who are very good playing close to each other, very good combination type players. I do. Longstaff can do it. Goodmanson can do it. Ampadu can do it. Stack can do it. And Okafor can do it. And DCL. When you've got them, and you can somehow find a way to combine them and just create a chance or an opportunity, do it. I just like this. Not all the time. It's not always going to work. I don't want him to stand next to the centre-back in central areas all the time. But I think there's a time and a place where he can really affect the game. And if we could have found him here, or in this position, again, Longstaff loses it. But you can see the potential threat we have with these guys there on their back line. Obviously, if you lose it, this is the point of risk and reward. There's times to do it and there's times to not. But I just want to point that out. I like Okafor when he's close to DCL. I do. 1v1 out wides. Again, guys, ball came from winning it in midfield. Straight to Okafor. He's wider now. He's got support. This is unlucky, this. Gets past his man. But like I said, I think 1v1, the Wolves defenders were actually quite decent. Very strong and quick. and read the game quite well defensively. They knew he was going to go in. But this isn't like my thing with this. Like, it's unlucky. Look, if his foot's half inch quicker, he's getting a free kick or a penalty, or he's in on goal. That's positive wing play. The threat from when he got it, which was here, is relatively high because he's on their back line. But he did drive into the box, and it's so close to being a one-on-one. Positive play. Again, ball rode on into DCL. As you can see, Goodmanson's keeping the width. Okafor is tucked in a little closer. Now, it's lucky how it gets to him because it hits DCL and goes behind him. However, that's the idea, right? He's still close to him to pick up that loose ball. Rodon is excellent, by the way. So underappreciated. I think he's really good. His passes into DCL are outstanding. He does them into stack as well. They're brilliant. They're so underappreciated in this team. But the point is, Okafor is ready. There he is. He's got the ball now. This was one where I think the decision was wrong. The thing is with wingers, you can always say the decision is right and wrong. You don't know the outcome of the other way. You don't know the outcome if you made another decision. But I think we're looking here at Goodmanson, who is up here kind of distorted. I apologise. Okafor's first touch, he touches it backwards. So he's going into pressure. We always say play out of pressure. Playing out of pressure would be to touch it. As you see, he's here, right? He receives the ball. He plays into pressure. He plays into... One, he goes from the back to goal. He plays into the number 8. He plays into this guy. As opposed to his touch going that way, playing out of pressure. And obviously, Goodmanson then, you can look at maybe an overload out wide. But he plays into pressure. Now, he actually does all right. He takes 2 of them on. Again, using his frame and his body. His good touch to beat the man, then get his body between the ball and the man. People think dribbling's all about quick feet and stuff, and it is. But for me, it's about how you use your body. I've always found that I was small. What I always did when I was up against big players was make a little touch to create space between me and the defender. I'd always make sure my body was between the defender. I'd draw a foul if I had to. Dark arts have been a winger. He does well. It beats 2 or 3 of them, honestly. He does really well. He shouldn't have gone that way. He shouldn't have to beat 2 or 3 of them. I mean, look where he is. Where he started. He had to go that way. He had to go out left for me to exploit them centre-backs and the width we had with Goodmanson. But he comes in. He does his thing. He beats 3 of them. And it's just frustrating. The pass goes in the air past Bogle. That was the only move that kind of annoyed me in that sense. Now, long ball. Ball in at DCL. Ridiculously good centre-forward play. Holds it up, chests it down. Okafor, where is he? Is with DCL. We played the long ball. Now what we've done, and what DCL is excellent at, and our midfield are very good at, look at how far back we've pinned Wolves. Look at this space. We've pinned them so high to create spaces behind them to play. Stack is there pinning as well. Okafor is close. The ball's come in into him. DCL's passed it to Okafor. Now look, Okafor's got the ball now. He's in another dangerous position. You know what I mean? Playing close to DCL in certain situations was excellent and it worked really well. Nothing came of that. The process is right. Again, Aronson, Okafor's there he is. He's in the box with DCL. Love it. Longstaff, not a great ball, but you can see the area, right? Ideally, I'd like one more in there, potentially. Maybe a stack to go in and Aronson to cover the edge of the box, but that's just been picky. The goal. This is the goal. It's behind my head. I apologise. The goal. The goal. Remember all the themes? Won it back in midfield. Stack wins it back. Look how close Okafor is straight away. He's there. He's with Stack. Key. Very important. We defend narrow in our very good block, which means when we win it back in midfield, which we have to do, and we do, that's part of the way we play. Now we have guys close to Stack. Now we have guys close to our midfield to impact the game and attack their defence, which is what we did. Okafor there, last man. Stack drives with it. Great way to pass. Simple as that. One-on-one. Well, not really. Finds the angle. Side 9. All that came from good shape in midfield, making them play a pass into a dangerous area. Stack reads it, wins it back. Okafor just runs off the last man close to him, playing with his midfielders like we said he should do. Finish. Being cohesive, being instinctive, like I said. We look more instinctive against Wolves. There's still gaps. There's still things to work on. A great finish. And this is the area where I want him. This is the area for me, kind of this position here, where I just think he's deadly. Or I think he will be. I really do. I think out wide, it'll be hit and miss, which is fine, I guess. As long as the good things, there's a shot coming off it, or there's a corner won, or there's a pass, then I'm all right with the losses. You know, that's part of being a winger. But if it becomes the point where it's just losses and nothing's coming from it, that was the issue with our current wingers. You know, we got into good areas, but there was no productivity off it. There is for Okafor. I just worry sometimes when he gets it really deep that he tries too many things. This is my favourite move, and this might be the last one of the video. Now, I love this. This is in the second half. We win the ball back. Okafor and Calvert-Lewin playing close together. Remember I said against Fulham how Calvert-Lewin was always centrally? And I just think we lacked the striker out wide to create combinations to get the ball in the box. So what we did here was the opposite of that, which is kind of what I guess I was kind of analysing. Calvert-Lewin was wide. We sacrificed a central striker for now so we could create a chance out wide to then get the ball into the striker, as opposed to trying to create without the striker. Okafor gets it, looks for Calvert-Lewin straight away, he was in a good area. Again, this picture says all. Calvert-Lewin occupying the centre-back, working close with his winger. Okafor played it into Calvert-Lewin, and it's just a 1-2. And it's a great way to pass. But what you can see, what Calvert-Lewin does now he's playing close to Okafor. There's no central striker, but there is space, right? And that's it. There is space to run into that. Whereas before he was already in the space occupying, he's took the centre-back out of it. And as you'll see in a minute, when he plays Okafor in, now you've got him running in the space, and you've got Aronson running into that space, and Stack as well. We vacated the space to run into it. This is what you can get with Okafor. It's a great 1-2. Calvert-Lewin gives it him back. Instantly, look at the space. Look where that came from. I won't say this is a huge chance. The expected threat from this one would be very high. Because we've got it in quite a deep area. There's only really Calvert-Lewin up there. He finds him because they're close together and they're working together to create a chance. He gives it in. 1-2. Boom. Straight in. That space. I'm going to attack that space behind this defender. I love this. Now look at Calvert-Lewin, look at Aronson, look at Stack. Now Calvert-Lewin's going, right, now I'm going to attack the box. Aronson, now I'm going to attack the box. We've got so much space to attack. You see? Next touch. Calvert-Lewin getting in the box. Aronson getting in the box. 2 versus 1 in the box because Calvert-Lewin came out wide as opposed to being in here. So now we can attack the box from this area. Now we've beaten their overload out wide because of a good 1-2 with a striker and a wing. The second touch doesn't quite go as planned. It went out wide, but that's fine. He adjusts. He beats his man. Look at the spaces we have now. Like I said, ideally, it'd have gone in there. But the touch that didn't happen. And that's fine. That happens, right? The touch went wider a little bit. So he kind of got the guys in front of him. But look at the spaces we've got. And Anton Stack's arriving as well. These are areas where we can get goals. This is where it comes from. And it all started from DCL coming out wide and creating a combination with a direct 1v1 winger who will always attack space and behind. This is where Okafor and wide works together for me. When there's space behind a fullback, we've seen him lose out to it earlier on in the video, but this is where it works. And we also have players behind him, if he did lose it, where we can win it back. Perfect wing and striker play. Unlucky touch. Look at the options we've got. Plays the ball to Stack. Stack then plays it to Longstaff at the edge. Again, in space. And it should have been a better strike. But that came from Okafor and Calvert-Lewin just playing close together. And look, he's in the box. Look when he gets it. He's in the box in space. So is Aronson. Nothing's changed from if he stayed there earlier. Absolutely love it. That's it, people. Let me know what you guys think. And again, just to clarify, and the end of it, the threat massively improved. So there's a hit and misses, right? But that's fine. That's why we analyse the game. Try and improve them misses and be more consistent with the hits. So there's times where I don't think he should. Where he shouldn't try things, and there's times where he should. But there's promise for me in Okafor. I don't think he was perfect by any means. But what does that even mean? Like, what? Who cares? No one is. Who cares? But I'm very, very impressed with certain aspects of his game that I think can massively help the way we play. And that's the directness in certain areas, combinations with midfielders and strikers, and his productivity in the final third. Which, when he gets sharp, I believe will massively improve because he can hit the ball, finds corners really well. But yeah. Thank you for the support as usual. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you guys in a bit. Thank you. Bye-bye.